We big dough.
We big dough. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Goblin Inc. / Goblin Viewz, the series. I am your titular goblin, and today we are accompanied by the lovely Akasha. And today we are reviewing the Batman. So, hold on, just gonna change this to just chatting. Hold on. Alright, and then I'm going to say something funny so I can check the audio.
Funny. Say something funny. Say something.
There you go. Alright. Really, really funny.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, we're here to talk about the newest release, directed by Matt Reeves, The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz,
other people.
Colin Farrell, what's his name? Gollum.
Gollum?
Yeah, Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah. And
Wait, who the fuck is Andy Serkis?
Alfred?
Oh,
The
yeah.
butler? Batman's basic dad, you know?
He is such a dick to Alfred in this movie.
He is such a... Well, hold on. We gotta set it up here.
You gotta name more people. Paul Dano.
John
Smith.
No, well, John Turturro?
I don't know.
That's the guy who plays Carmine Falcone.
Oh.
John... Fuck, hold on. John... Turturro. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so,
That's a lot of fucking characters.
Yeah, let's just get into it. Did you like this movie in a broad sense, you know?
Oh my god, I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, I didn't think the movie was going to be bad by any means. I think DC has had a pretty good track record lately, and everything that obviously has been seen from this, like trailer-wise, has looked really good.
I always temper my expectations, so I just thought like, oh, it'll probably be a good movie, and it's I don't know, people might take it negatively, but I really like tempering my expectations because I was like, man, this movie fucking blows my expectations out of the water.
I am gonna do some challenge modes while we talk about this, because I realize that in the main story we've already defeated all the bad guys, so there's no one for me to fight.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, I guess I didn't temper expectations for myself. I just was going into it. I've been wanting so badly to watch a Batman movie that makes me feel like The Dark Knight does. Mm-hmm. And honestly, this movie does.
Yeah. For like, without spoilers, like a broad review first, I would say...
Well, I guess let's talk about what the movie's about.
Oh, yeah.
It's about Batman. Clearly. A new string of serial killings has struck Gotham's higher ups, and it's up to Batman to find the Riddler, who's the perpetrator of these crimes,
and solve 6 riddles.
He's got to solve 97 riddles. He's got to get all the Riddler trophies in order to beat the movie.
He does.
That's why the movie's 3 hours long. It's him finding 600 Riddler trophies. They're all 5-second scenes. Well, some of them are 30 seconds of him finding the trophies, but...
he's got to throw his batarang into a vent and press the button on the end so he can crawl in.
You, as the audience, have to press the X button so that he'll pull the vent off.
I'm sorry, we're getting into spoilers now.
Yeah. No, but, yeah, that's the basic plot of the movie.
And if you watch the trailer, you can probably gather that.
Yes. Hello, Rose. Welcome. I hope you're doing well today.
But, can I go into, like, general thoughts without spoilers?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
We do. I just wanted to give the brief overplot. Obviously, we do our thing where we do the whole plot synopsis, but...
Yeah. So, the music is really fucking good.
Music is... Michael Giacchino knocks it out of the park.
And I want to say, I'm not trying to be like I was there first, but I love Michael Giacchino soundtracks, like some of the more recent ones, because he's been working since the 90s, but he's only...
Well, he's gotten really super popular Not like he wasn't like famous before, obviously, but
I think
a lot of people have started noticing his stuff a lot more recently, and I think that's also just because people have started noticing soundtracks in movies a lot more recently, like people actually caring, which is nice.
He did like the Up soundtrack and stuff.
Yeah.
So
isn't he doing he does a bunch of Pixar stuff? I think he's doing like the new Lightyear soundtrack, I think.
Yeah, and he did Doctor Strange and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it's like superhero films usually have pretty fucking boring ass soundtracks where they play like the theme and that's the only thing you recognize. And there is a really recognizable theme in this movie, but there's a couple other things where they have, obviously this isn't part of the OST, but they have Something in the Way by Nirvana. But what they do with that, what Michael Giacchino does with that, is he takes chords and notes out of that
from the song,
and turns it into like pieces on the soundtrack. Really good.
It is really good. While the music being really good, one of my complaints about the music is that I feel like the main theme comes on way too much. Sure, it's different variations of the main theme. It's like a small criticism. This is only like one of the criticisms I only have of the movie. But I think the main theme is even if it's variations, it's used way too much, so it kind of takes the impact, I think, a little bit away from the theme itself. But other than that, the music is really good.
Oh no, does Rose hate Up? No, I don't think that's what Rose is saying.
No, obviously not. But what other things did you like, non-spoiler wise?
Yeah, I was gonna say too, I have been talking about this with Brant a lot. I love that this movie shows and doesn't tell. We will get into specifics, but it's just, I think is it Pattinson or Patterson? Pattinson does a really good job of acting just like without talking, just with his face. And there's some points in the movie is not directly told to you what is going on and you just assume it from how he's reacting. So good. It's really, really good. I don't know, again, with superhero movies, I feel like they have to explain a lot of things to you, like, oh, this is the tech we have, and this is the bad guy plan, and you know what I mean? Rose said, oh, that's great. It is really great. It was really good. I
think they, in a few bits, though, I think the show don't tell kind of hurts the movie, and that's, again, like, we'll get into spoilers with that, but I in a few instances, I feel like there's a few things that are just brushed over, that don't get explanation. One really big thing, another thing is kind of minor, but one really big thing where I'm like, why all of a sudden is this happening the way it's happening? But like I said, spoilers.
Everyone's a great actor.
Everyone's great in this movie. Colin Farrell is not even Colin Farrell. He's just the Penguin.
Yeah, and he's so good.
He's so good. But no, it's like, it's weird, because I was just thinking while you were talking, I was like, Robert Pattinson has been in this, The Lighthouse, and Good Time. And he is, like, it doesn't even feel like Robert Pattinson in any of those movies. Like, it's all a character, and that's how good of an actor he is. Like, it's all those characters.
Yeah.
Same thing with Batman. He is Batman in this movie, you know?
Yeah. Something I want to bring up, though, that I think is interesting, that people may or may not like, is the fact that in this movie, again, no spoilers, in this movie, the Bruce Wayne that Robert Pattinson played is just, like, reclusive and depressed instead of, like, a playboy.
Yeah.
And I think some people might have a problem with that, but I really didn't.
Well, in the reason I was talking to you about this, I think the reason people are having a lot of issues with this movie is because of how much comic books have, like, changed Batman into being this. Because even I have problems with it in the sense where I see Batman right now in, like, media as this guy who could literally do anything. And this movie does not make him that. You know what I mean? He does make mistakes,
which I really like.
Well, no, yeah, and I really like it too. But as a person who reads the comic books, it is a little, I guess, not jarring, but it's like not the same character in a good way, at least to me. I know a lot of people probably don't look at it as a good thing because they can't get past, oh, it's a comic book and it's the source material, so it's clearly better. You know what I mean?
Rose said, though, about Robert Pattinson, he doesn't get enough praise. He really doesn't. There's actually, like...
No, there's only... The thing is, like, he's only been in one bad series. Like, the Twilight movies are his only really bad movies, and even then, they're not even that bad.
Well, there's someone at my work who said that his father refuses to watch this new Batman movie, even though he loves Batman, because he hates Robert Pattinson because of Twilight.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I thought he was okay in... Exactly. He's been a great actor in so many movies since Twilight. That's the problem, is no one will fucking watch Good Time. Or, like, if they watch The Lighthouse, they fucking forget about it. Mm-hmm. Or that he was in it for some reason. It's very weird.
But yeah, another thing I wanted to comment on before we get into spoilers is that we were talking about this a lot too, just that, like, I myself was worried because of the previous Jim Carrey performance and because of how the Riddler is portrayed in a lot of things.
Like this Arkham games, like the Arkham games specifically, how he's just a big pussy.
Well, that, and also that he was just going to be like the Joker.
Yeah.
But I think he definitely has his own personality, and he is not like the Joker.
Yeah, no, they do a very good job. Paul Dano is the best Riddler there has ever been.
So good.
At least live action wise.
Not to shit on Jim Carrey because I love that movie, but he's just the Joker.
Yeah, and I like Jim Carrey as an actor too, and I don't think he's bad in that movie. He's just not directed well.
And he doesn't even say riddles in that movie. He just says jokes.
Yeah, he does. You're absolutely right.
I think maybe he tells one riddle in that fucking movie. But this movie, I like that it's like a thriller mystery with a lot of suspense, because there is a mystery, because there are riddles that Batman has to solve, and he doesn't just solve them immediately and be like, oh, the Riddler's fucking stupid, he can't even come up with a good riddle.
Yeah, be careful you don't bump the mic here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Andrew Garfield. It is kind of like Andrew Garfield, because he's been in a lot of good movies since the Spider-Man movies as well. You gotta go to the bathroom.
I do. Do you want to finish out this section?
Yeah, I'll finish out the spoiler, or the non-spoiler section, and then when you come back, we'll do spoilers. Yeah, acting's really good. Cinematography is the best part of this movie, I think, hands down. There is some of the most beautiful comic book movie shots I've ever seen, and just movie shots. Like, there's really interesting, because this is a Batman movie. There is little to no not Batman in this movie. So you see things from his perspective. Like, if he gets, like, fucked up, like he gets hit in the head, the camera will, like, go out of focus, and you'll see things in, like, weird fucked up ways because he gets, you know, all messed up and stuff. It's really cool. Colors. Color red is obviously very prominent. If you couldn't tell from the, like, posters even, there's just red everywhere. The uses of shadows. Oh my god, they use shadows on faces that completely, like, it's obviously, like, not... or maybe it's just such harsh shadows. Maybe it is real. But they look so deep that it looks like a void when like, characters' faces are, like, obscured in these weird shadow things. It's really cool. There was something else that I wanted to point out. Oh, sound design. They do this thing where Batman, his boots fucking clang like a cowboy, basically. They make like a so whenever he's like, there will be scenes where it will be completely dark, and all of this, you'll be like seeing the perspective of like the goons or whatever, and they'll be looking down a dark hallway, and all of a sudden you'll hear and you'll see fucking Batman just sprinting out of the fucking shadows and beat the shit out of all these guys. It's awesome. It's really artistically fucking brilliant, if I do say so. It's really good. I would even, like, dare say that, like, I really like The Dark Knight, but I don't see The Dark Knight as the best Batman movie, because I think Christian Bale's Batman is really weak in that movie because fucking Heath Ledger's Joker is so good. Like Spurs, yeah, basically it sounds like Spurs, but it's more heavy. Yeah, it's more like a heavy thudding. It's just very horror-esque.
Yeah, it kind of makes you scared.
Yeah, it kind of does make you scared, because all of a sudden, if you're gonna talk, can you come in here?
Dude, I'm going to the bathroom.
Well, yeah, don't talk to the audience from the bathroom, you fucking weirdo. Alright, I think Akash is coming back, so... in a minute. But, yeah, I think that rounds it out for the non-spoiler section. You ready to get into the story and all that?
Yeah.
So...
Ooh. Hello.
Do you want to start us out since you haven't been here for a while?
Yeah, so... Batman does his Rorschach monologue. He goes, "This city is full of scum," or whatever.
He doesn't even say that.
No, I know. No, actually, I quite like it. There's like a little monologue he does, because he writes like observation logs, but really it's just like a diary kind of for Batman, and he's just kind of questioning like what his impact is on Gotham.
Well, it's a very interesting, because the opening of the movie is like 20 minutes long, because it's all this thing of him writing in his diary and of what he's doing in just one night. Mm-hmm. So we see like the bat signal has just been like is a new thing, because the trust with him and the police is like still wary, but it's like...
Yeah, he's been working for 2 years now as Batman.
Yeah, so he's just now gotten the bat signal. And
like the climax of this scene we get, it's so good, this opening, because it shows
how evil Gotham City is.
Yeah, which is really awesome, but it also shows like all these different crimes starting to take place, and then all the criminals see the bat signal and they're like panicking because they're like looking in dark shadowy corridors, and
that's one of the instances of shadow they use really, really well, is all these criminals look down hallways and all of a sudden they're like, is the Batman there? Even though he's fucking not there. In the one instance that he does beat the shit out of the guys, it's the scene we've all seen from the trailer where it's like
he beats up Doug Walker.
Yeah, he does not look like fucking Doug Walker. Fuck you. You keep saying this and I hate it even more.
Stop saying it.
Anyway, he doesn't look like Doug Walker. That's an insult to the poor fucking man who acted in the Batman movie. So he beats the shit out of guys and then he goes home. And it's basically just to show you how broken Bruce is as a human, that he doesn't even... All he is Batman. He's not Bruce Wayne. That's why Bruce Wayne is not in this movie at all, is because he's just Batman, basically.
I wanna say the thing that my friend at work told me, though, which is true. It's that him as Bruce Wayne is only in this movie for like 7 minutes, and then the whole rest of the movie is Batman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's only 10 minutes in the movie without Batman. But yeah, I just really like that scene, because it really, I don't think anyone ever really shows that, like how actually terrified you would be as a criminal if you knew Batman could be anywhere at any time. I was like, I'm kind of fucking scared he's gonna beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like, I would be scared. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But basically this is just like the set dressing to introduce Batman. Mm-hmm. And then we get our first scene of the Riddler. And this is one of my kind of critiques of the movie is, okay, so we see this movie's very dark. Mm-hmm. obviously we see through the perspective of the Riddler, but only the times he's like serial killing, basically. And they're really dark. Like, he beats people over the head with like a carpentry tool. And in this first one, he like cuts off the guy's thumb and attaches it to like a thumb drive, being funny, calling it a thumb drive and shit. It's not, I guess it's like a criticism on the sense that there's all these dark themes, but it's PG-13, so there's like no blood and stuff like that. So it just gives you this weird like even like the first they say fuck in the first 5 minutes, like they waste, or not waste, but they use their only fuck word in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So you're like, is this supposed to be dark? You know what I mean? And it's supposed to be, and it is for most of it. There's a lot of fucked up shit that the Riddler does, but it feels like it's like pulled. How did he see me? It's like pulled back. You know what I mean? Because of the PG-13 rating. Like.
Yeah, and I think what Brant means is like pulled back in the sense that there is not blood or injury detail.
And not that I need to, like, I'm not like, oh, I need to see blood. I need the blood in the movie. But it's like, if you're going to have things where a dude is going around beating people over the head, it's already a movie about a serial killer. Like, you know what I mean?
And it just, the surprising thing for the PG-13 rating is like the actual acts of the movie just get more and more fucked up, which I do.
Yeah, there's a scene where for one of his torturers, he puts like rats. He ties this guy like into a literal saw trap. He puts like a rat. There's like rats at the bottom, and they have no food, so they're gonna burrow up into the guy's eyes and eat his eyes. And that's it. They don't show it, but there's shit like that in the movie.
Yeah.
There's another part later on in the movie, yeah. There's another part in the movie where there's like a guy with just a saw trap where it's a fucking bomb just strapped to his neck. That's literally a medieval torture. Yeah, exactly. But it's just a bunch of there's so much messed up stuff in the movie that makes me be like, was this supposed to be, R? And yeah. Matt Reeves filmed it like it was supposed to be R, but then in editing they were like, gonna cut out this bit where he shows the blood, gonna, touch up this bit where there's a puddle of blood here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, because they were like, oh, it needs to be PG-13.
Yeah. But I do appreciate, because obviously that is not like the director's decision.
Also, I made a funny tweet about this because they did announce there's going to be a Penguin spin-off show, and they announced that's going to be R, and I made a joke on Twitter that the Penguin is going to say fucking frick. He literally says frick in this movie.
He does.
He says, I freaking got you at one point, and I'm like, he's going to say fuck in the show.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's exactly what my tweet was.
When you're an R man living in a PG-13
Exactly!
world.
That's why I'm like, what? Just make everything R. Who gives a shit at this point?
No,
they should have gone for R. They should have.
Yeah.
And they basically did. That's the thing. They basically did.
Just without the blood.
Yeah, without the blood. There is sexual assault in this movie. There is torture. There is everything. There's so much dark shit in this movie. That like people with little kids were there. I was like, holy shit. I wonder if they're regretting the fact that they brought their kid to this movie.
No, yeah, there was like 300 little babies in the theater.
Yeah, no, it was the most packed theater we've been to, including Spider-Man. But we did go to a weird time for Spider-Man, so I do acknowledge that when taking that into account.
There was like fucking 5-10-year-olds though at the showing or something.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, ouch. Yeah.
But
I think we shouldn't go in order. We should just talk about things we think are really interesting.
Yeah.
Because we've already talked about the Riddler's killing, so he's basically going around and killing officials and stuff.
Yeah, like he kills the mayor.
Yeah, the first kill is the mayor of Gotham City, which is obviously sets everything off.
And then he kills... What the fuck is Mitchell again? I can't...
The DA.
Oh, yeah, he kills the DA.
Yeah, he kills like one of the DA's... that's the guy with the rat trap. Or no...
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Mitchell.
yeah. But
And
isn't
then
the guy
Coulson.
the Coulson is also a DA, right?
I can't remember.
I think it's all of the DAs.
They're higher up people in the police. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, like, they get onto this plot where they realize that he's killing, like, corrupt officials.
Yeah, and it's basically, let's just talk about it. Let's just
Yeah.
so
The rat.
yeah, so Thomas Wayne, when he was like alive, was running for mayor at the same time when he died or whatever, and he introduced this thing called renewal, which they didn't. Did you understand what the Renewal Act does in that movie?
It's supposed to be just like pumping money into like orphanages and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, because the way they explain it is he did it, and then all the criminals, like Falcone, like
Because
puts all his money into it, and then how does that work? Is it embezzlement then?
Well, they explained it's because it was a huge pool of money that was already set aside that was supposed to go to the orphanages. But then Thomas Wayne dies, and so all the officials, because they have the authority, they grab all that money and they pump it into their crime instead.
Yeah, into Falcone's crime business. So now
Yeah.
he's basically the mayor of Gotham.
Yeah.
In a weird sense, that's like the big spoiler of the movie, is that Carmine Falcone is basically
He runs everything. in
Yeah,
Gotham.
he's not like the big villain, because obviously the Riddler's the villain, but he's like the big bad who's been controlling things since the beginning and all that shit.
Yeah, and the mystery they have to figure out is who is the rat who is working. Well, it's interesting because at first they think the only purpose of the rat was to tell on like a big drug bust on the Maroney crime family.
Yeah.
And they thought,
Which is just a crime family in the DC universe, if you don't know.
just like the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually the plot line is, it's the same thing in this, is the Falcons and the Maronis are
a rival.
adversaries.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
the biggest crime families, but they're adversaries.
Yeah, and they're usually the big crime families before the biggest criminals in Gotham come around.
Yeah, they're during Thomas Wayne's time, but they're live when Bruce Wayne is still there, so...
Yeah.
It becomes like a passing of the torch when, like, the Penguin shows up and then takes over, just like he does in this movie when Falcone dies.
Spoiler.
Well, we're in the spoiler
I know,
section,
I
so
know.
whatever. He gets killed, and then obviously this movie sets up so the Penguin can become just as big, if not bigger, in a future thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And so, really, they thought just the rat was working for the police. But then, as the plot goes on and the Riddler drops more hints, because he wants Batman to find out who the rat is,
yeah.
they realize that it was Falcone, and it's not that he's working for the police, it's that all of the police are in the hands of Falcone.
Yeah, work for him. Yeah. It's a really good twist.
It is really good. There's so many good twists.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of twists in this movie. I guess we should let's talk about
Selena?
Yeah, Selena. Her character is that she works at the club that the Penguin and Falcone like kind of co-run.
Iceberg
The
Lounge.
Iceberg Lounge, which is a famous... If you've seen the Arkham City playthrough that I've done, you've seen the Iceberg Lounge.
It's just not on a boat in this one.
It's not on a boat in the game.
Oh, I thought it was.
No.
Oh. Never mind. Usually I remember it being on a boat. I can't remember why, but...
Nope. But, yeah, Selena, the best Catwoman to be portrayed in live action as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, these are the best versions of these Batman characters that have ever been portrayed. Have you seen Batman Returns? With Danny DeVito as the Penguin?
No.
This is a better Penguin than Danny DeVito.
That's the only one I haven't watched.
Yeah, this is a better Riddler than Jim Carrey. You know what I mean? This is a better Batman. This is the best Batman there ever has been. Live action. And I will I don't care. That's I think Christian Bale's voice is way too fucking weird.
I hate that he does that voice.
Yeah, George Clooney is way too goofy. I know that's the point, but it's like way too fucking ridiculous.
That credit card.
Michael Keaton's pretty good. He plays a pretty good Batman, but Robert Pattinson just has it down. Better than Batfleck? Bale? Yes. Christian Bale does a good Bruce Wayne. It's just the Batman voice. And he's not bad as Batman. If he just didn't do the stupid voice, I think I'd be fine with it. Way better than Batfleck, though. I think Batfleck is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the Snyder League thing. I like his Justice League, but like Batman versus Superman, I flip-flop on how I feel about that all the time. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I really don't like it. So I don't know. At the moment, I'm in my don't like it phase, so...
But anyhow, Selena Kyle.
Yeah, Selena Kyle, but this is the best version. Zoe Kravitz.
Aren't you really happy not once during the movie, like, Batman went, oh, what are you, some kind of Catwoman? They never say Catwoman.
No, they never call her Catwoman.
No.
Well, they say Bat and the Cat, so
Yeah.
it's incentive of calling her Catwoman.
But I was kind of like, I'm glad they didn't, like, fucking say it.
Do like Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'm Electro, where she comes up with her own name or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's just bar, and she has the girl Annika that she's looking for. You or did you not think that they were in a relationship? Yeah, no, no, because Zoe she played it like they were, even if it's not.
Really?
Yeah, which I thought was interesting because even in the movie she calls her baby and stuff like that. So it's like, really, that's Catwoman, or I like when a movie treats its audience like they're not stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Catwoman.
Yeah.
Like, we see the fucking costume and we're like, yeah, that's fucking Catwoman.
Well, and I like that her costume is just like a beanie that has little cat ears, that kind of stick out. It's very...
it looks good.
Wow, it's like, you haven't even seen the Dark Knight Rises, but I forgot about Anne Hathaway as Cat. She's so bad. She's a terror. Have you seen what the Catwoman costume looks like in The Dark Knight Rises?
No.
I'm gonna show you. Everyone look up Dark Knight
Everyone
Rises
do it together.
Catwoman.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Nice.
Look at that comparatively. She looks like she's wearing a fucking, princess tiara.
Why is she wearing, Black Widow's clothes?
I don't know, because this is... Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
nice.
I'll take your word. Yeah, it's bad.
For claws, though, in this movie, she just has really long nails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just am so astounded by how good all the acting is. We haven't, is there anything else you have to say about Selena now that I think about it?
Well, I just wanted to go over her part in the movie a little, because I wanted to say that I generally don't like Catwoman. As a character? I feel so middling about Catwoman most of the time.
But most interpretations that you've seen are pretty, in Harley Quinn, she's really good. That's an interpretation that you've seen.
Yeah, but in the interpretation, they're like, yeah, she's like a bitch.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Which it's
Are you basing it basically off of the Arkham series Catwoman?
Well, and just the fact that, I just don't like this character type that much, where it just feels like she's just inserted a lot of the time to be like, woo, we got sexy Catwoman on screen, woo! Yeah. But she...
but they, DC has done that with all of their female fucking villains forever, though.
No,
Poison Ivy has been sexified forever as well, and so is Harley Quinn.
I know. But,
Femme Fatale, exactly.
But she actually,
she is the only one that is an actual romantic interest for Batman, though, so I get it from that regard as well.
Yeah, but, I liked her in this movie because she actually has something to do in this movie.
Well, yeah, she has a character, and she's not, obviously there's a romance, and the romance kind of feels a little sudden in the movie. They just she all of a sudden just kisses him, in the movie. And it's like, okay, whatever. It kind of felt like it didn't need to be there, and it was only there because that's how the characters are in the comic books. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could have taken it or not. I don't.
Well, it's like you could have just done it later.
Yeah.
It just, like I said, it just feels all of a sudden, especially if it's like she is searching for her dead girl, like possibly dead girlfriend. You know what I mean? It's a little weird.
Yeah, but basically, her plot in the movie is that her friend
Goes
Annika
missing.
has disappeared, and they believe that. Well, they don't believe. They know that she is tied up with this mystery, and like something bad might have happened to her because like she knows who the rat is or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, Catwoman just wants to find this friend, and they show that with a scene where she goes to the Iceberg Lounge, and like Batman is, because he has these little eye things.
Yeah, he has. So a gadget he has in the movie is he has contact lenses that he uses that like records everything he sees, so that
like cameras.
Yeah, so if he goes to like a crime scene, he can always, hey, oh thank fuck I caught this. Hey Eclipse, welcome. I'm glad that you caught it too. But yeah, he has these like eye lens things that he puts in so he can like look back at a crime scene. So in case he missed anything the first, it's very clever. I really like that because I don't think I've ever, I mean maybe in the comics, but in like a lot of the, I don't think I've seen it thing where Batman can really rewind it. I mean, I guess in these games he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. But it's cool nonetheless. But he gives them to Catwoman so that she can spy harder in the Iceberg Lounge.
Yeah, so that she can talk to everybody, and they've already figured out that there's corrupt officials in the DA, in the, not DA, in the...
No, it's in the DA.
Well, in the police department.
Yeah. But it is the DAs. All the DAs are corrupt, he figures out.
Yes. And there's like a bunch of police officers who are at the Iceberg Lounge.
Who like both either work there or just are
are taking fucking drugs or whatever.
Yeah, or like assaulting women.
Yeah. But yeah, and we see that like Catwoman has her own agenda because Batman is kind of telling her what to do, like, oh, go talk to this guy or whatever. Go figure out what he just said about the rat or whatever. And there's one point where Catwoman is like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna go do my own thing and talk to this other motherfucker.
Well, yeah, and then she disappears for like half of the movie.
Yeah.
Because she's like pissed at Batman.
Yeah. And he does, like, I like the fact that, like, he makes some mistakes and says some, like, fucked up shit to her.
What do you mean?
Well, because he just doesn't understand. Like, he doesn't understand what it's like where you're poor and you have to go work at the fucking Iceberg
Yeah,
Lounge.
and they make a good point of that, like, Bruce Wayne has white privilege.
Yeah.
They make a point of that Batman / Bruce Wayne has white privilege, and that he, yes, has it hard, but he does not have it harder than everybody else.
Yeah, and he just doesn't understand this shit because he immediately assumes when Selena...
And he's rich. Yeah, exactly. They make a point of that. They, like... It's a little heavy-handed, but there's a line where Selena literally says all these rich white assholes always get what they want, or something like that. And lines like that are always heavy-handed, but it gets the point across nonetheless.
Well, yeah, and it shows how her character contrasts. Because, like, there's a point in that Iceberg Lounge scene where she goes and talks to Carmine Falcone, and Batman immediately assumes, like, oh, you're close to him because you're having sex with him.
Well, yeah, and then it's revealed that it's her dad.
Yeah, that Falcone is her father. Yeah. And it's just, like, after that point, he's just... again, they don't say anything. You just see it in his face where he's like, oh, I guess I don't know everything and I am fucking wrong.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Misogyny for the win. Batman learns his lesson. That's the whole point. He is kind of a piece of shit in this movie. He is so angry that he thinks him being vengeance is the answer. And this movie challenges that because the whole, like, the Riddler in this movie, I guess, do we want to talk about the Riddler a bit?
Yeah.
He is a cult leader. He in this movie has an online following, and the climax of the movie is that he gets himself arrested so that he gets a bunch of people to plant bombs around the city, and blow up the seawall so that a bunch of people will have to be evacuated to the only safety place. And then he has a bunch of people from his cult who are there with sniper rifles and shit.
To just kill people.
Yeah, to just fucking, like, kill people. And it's like, holy shit, this is, it's probably the darkest a Batman movie has gotten. Because, like, yeah, the Joker's a terrorist but, like, even when he blows up the hospital, at least he gives people the chance to evacuate.
Yeah.
In this, he, like, the Riddler wants people to be there.
He literally wants to kill civilians.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, this is PG-13.
This is PG-13, yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's like not funny, but it's funny because it's Batman. There's like a part where the Riddler, like, they find like a little video where he's like, "Thank you guys in this community for giving me all the support and telling me how to make detonators for bombs." It's like not funny, but it's funny because it's like
there were people in the theater laughing.
Well, there's parts in this movie, like the part where he's like, he puts the guy's thumb on the thumb drive, and then Batman goes, "Thumb drive." It's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I also thought it was really funny, the part where...
Not Riddler being a troll!
I love the part where the police catch him at the diner, and they have those two licenses, like the two IDs, and they're like, "Which one is you?" And he starts laughing, and he goes, "You tell me."
Yeah! No, it's pretty good. It's a 15 over help. What do you mean? Eclipse, we're taking English rating for... Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so 15 over.
We don't have that sort of thing. We just have PG-13, then R,
yeah.
and then obviously PG and
But
G.
we were talking, there was like kids that were like 10 years old at our fucking theater, and I was like, holy shit. They're watching this movie right now?
Yeah. But no, what happens... Oh, this is so good. Okay, so...
Okay, what are we going to talk about the interrogation scene already?
No, I want to talk just about the Riddler. Like,
okay.
Just going through that.
Yeah.
So, basically, Batman, with each crime the Riddler is committing, is getting these, like, cards.
Well, with hieroglyphs. It's exactly like the Zodiac. He's getting fucking code cards and shit.
Yeah, and there's little riddles in them. Like, what's the first riddle?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
What does a liar do when he's dead?
Oh yeah, what do liars do when even after they die, they lie still?
Yeah. So it's clues to help figure out who the rat is, and basically there's like, I don't want to go over every detail, but the only person we didn't mention who dies is Coulson.
Well, no, he's the one with the... Yeah, I kind of wanted to... I was going to talk about that scene, like, separately, because I think it's just a really good scene.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay. I'll just...
I was going to talk about it with the Riddler, but I was going to wait until you were done.
Okay. So,
because I wanted to go more into his traps, and that was going to be part of it.
Yeah. So what happens is, eventually, Commissioner Gordon, which we're failing to mention him, but he's in this movie quite a lot.
Oh, yeah. I gotta say, Jeffrey Wright is my favorite part in this movie. Besides, he is my favorite character besides Batman. I fucking love Jim Gordon in this movie. I think he is so good. I think Jeffrey Wright, yet again, I think it's the best fucking version of Jim Gordon, and I think Gary Oldman does a really good job in the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
But I think fucking Jeffrey Wright knocks it out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we'll talk about your one problem with the whole thing later.
The police?
Yeah, the police. But
I have a big... Well, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about that with Jim Gordon here in a minute, then.
Yeah. But, basically we get to the point where Jim Gordon and Batman, figure out that they believe the rat is the Penguin.
Yeah.
Because they get a hint that it's a rat with wings.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, Penguin has wings.
Yeah.
And this is where we get into the part of the movie with the fucking car chase.
Which is, people are saying that's the best part of the movie. It's the coolest action scene for sure.
Is, yeah.
I don't think it's the coolest part of the movie though. I think
not the interrogation, but the like scene where they talk at the prison is.
Yeah, I think any scene where Robert Pattinson is acting as like with his eyes is the best part, which is, you know, that part where he's talking to the Riddler in the prison, or where like the bomb scene we're going to talk about here in a minute with Coulson, where he's like we'll talk about it.
Yeah. But basically they have that cool ass car chase, and they just figure out that like the Penguin wasn't even the rat, so this whole thing didn't matter.
Yeah, they like, it's a whole car chase that leads to nothing, basically.
Yeah, because the Penguin.
Also, I'm sorry, I just want to interrupt you for this.
Yeah.
People are fucking saying that Batman kills people in this scene. Fucking wrong. The Penguin kills people in this scene. He is the one who causes the people in the cars to have car accidents. Batman, okay, while he does, like, fucking do this weird thing where he, like, drives over an exploding car, sure, it is a little weird that he rides over, like, the corpse of an exploding person. It is a little weird that he does that. But he does not fucking kill people in that scene. It is not what happens.
No, if people think that's what happens, they did not pay attention to, like, which car was which. Because literally the Penguin is slamming into trucks.
But no, I don't even know how you can't pay attention to which car is which, because it's filmed so strategically. The Batman's car is filmed so it's aiming at the Penguin, because he's focused, he's determined, he wants the Penguin. The Penguin's camera is always pointing back at the Batman, because he's always looking over his shoulder. He's like, where the fuck is this dude right now? How can I get out of this? That's why the scene's so good, because it's shot so fucking well. All these car chases that come out nowadays, it's like explosion fucking everywhere. Like, we had a Michael Bay trailer trailer before.
Stupid one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, like a trailer before, and it's like it looked like the cinematography, like, of how it looked nice, but you couldn't fucking tell what was going on, like, at all. And he's supposed to be like the master of doing that shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just, before we go back to the Riddler, we gotta talk about that fucking awesome shot where the Penguin is upside down.
Oh, where he crashes the car.
It's crashed, and Batman, like, the flames behind him is just walking towards.
Well, it goes along with the
Penguin
boots
slowly.
because it, like, kind of fades out, and all you just fucking hear are those boots just walking towards the Penguin. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, and the Penguin is like, oh, I'm in fucking trouble.
Yeah. Seems like you like Pattinson as Batman. Probably the same for you, that the Pattinson's your favorite live action. He's just so good. He acts so fucking well. I guess let's talk about Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
Or what?
Oh,
did you want to move on to something different?
Yeah, did you want to talk about all the targets, like, in one part of themselves?
Like the targets of the crimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, go to Jim Gordon then.
Yeah, so, or talk about him?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's just really good. I think the only really complaint I have with the movie is I don't understand Batman's relationship with the police at all. Like, by the end of the movie, I was like, they're friends with Batman, but they also hate Batman. And by the end of the movie, they really respect Batman. But, like, the whole movie... So, okay. There is a scene... Why do they get so pissed at him? What does he do?
From which scene? Because they get pissed at him twice.
But the part where he gets, like, really in trouble, and they want to, like, arrest him. Because he gets knocked out. Why does he get knocked out?
Because he was there when Coulson died.
Oh, yeah, okay, so...
let him die?
Okay, maybe we should talk about the victims first, then. Let's talk about the victims.
Okay.
So, yeah, we got the first guy who just gets beaten over the head with a hammer, and then there's Riddles.
Which is the mayor.
Yeah, and then we get the second guy who's one of the DAs, and he has the rats. Then we have Coulson, where there's a whole scene where Batman has to go to or Bruce Wayne. He goes as Bruce Wayne for, like, one of the only times in the movie. He goes as Bruce Wayne to this funeral for the mayor, because it would probably seem rude if he didn't go. But he goes to the funeral, and all of a sudden a fucking car cascades through. We've all seen this from the trailer, I think, as well. I think that's a scene that's, like, was pretty widely talked about, this car, like, coming through the funeral procession.
A clip said he assaulted an officer, but we're talking about what he does beforehand, because they're talking about arresting him while he's still unconscious.
Yeah. but anyway, the police show up, and all of a sudden, Coulson walks out, and he has the bomb thing next to his neck. And Batman shows up later, and we get this cool scene where the Riddler talks to him on the phone call, and then he live streams it, and he gives bless you, he gives Coulson a chance to escape. Bless you.
Thank you.
If he answers 3 riddles in 2 minutes. And
3 minutes.
What?
3 minutes.
No, it's 3 riddles in 2 minutes. Whatever. Who cares?
Never mind.
So Batman helps him with the first 2, but the last one is that Coulson has to give up who's the rat to the Riddler, so that because the Riddler's whole plot is that he's basically giving up dirt. He's like Gossip Girl in this movie. He's giving up fucking dirt.
He wants to expose everything.
Yeah, he wants to unmask the truth. That he keeps, which is what he keeps saying. He wants to unmask the city, unmask the truth. Which also kind of obviously goes in line with who Batman is, unmasking the truth. So, we get this scene, and Coulson doesn't want to give up the rat. He'd rather fucking die than give up the rat, which he does. He fucking blows up. His head explodes. Which is also weird because it's another thing where it's not an R rating, so he just kind of erupts into flames and his body disappears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very weird. But Batman passes out, and then the cops bring him to the police precinct. And they're like, oh, let's fucking arrest him. He got Coulson killed or whatever.
Well, and unmask him.
Yeah, well, no, they try to unmask. I was going to say, they want to arrest him, and then they're like, fuck it, let's unmask him. And then Batman wakes up, and he starts beating the shit out of the police officers. But yeah, they're like, the police commissioner, who isn't Gordon, the police commissioner isn't Jim Gordon in this movie.
I forgot his name.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's like, Jim, I've been trusting you with this Batman shit. I will let you talk to him and let you figure it out. So then there's a scene where Jim Gordon's like, you're in some hot shit right now, so what you're gonna do is I'm gonna give you the key, and you're gonna punch me in the face, and you're gonna run away. So Batman punches him in the face, and he runs away from the police precinct, and there's this really cool scene where he gets to the roof, and he uses his glide suit for the first, it seems for the first time. They don't say anything, but you see from Robert Pattinson's, acting, he looks very scared to use it. It's definitely, a last resort.
Because he literally gets up to the ledge and he goes, whoa!
Yeah. So he glides off and he fucking eats shit on the pavement.
He does.
But my problem comes in that there's no resolution to the cop bit. He meets up with Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon's like, hey, you could have let up on that punch, and he's like, I did. And then the police are never mad at Batman again.
They aren't, no.
There's no explanation for why they aren't mad at all. That's my biggest complaint is that one thing is because there's a whole scene dedicated to him running out, and he does this glide thing and he eats shit after it, and it's just
the police see him later and they're like, okay, let him in, let him touch all the evidence.
yeah, they're fine with him showing up at police places later on in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's because he helps solve more crimes, so he proves himself innocent, I guess, but there's no part where the police talk about it or anything. They're just fine with them again.
And I was telling Brant, I think I know why this is, because at the end they obviously capture Falcone for
well, they don't capture him, he fucking gets killed.
Well, no, I know. Okay, before that happens,
Yeah.
They capture him. They capture Falcone, Batman does with Jim Gordon, and Falcone says a line where he goes, what do you think is gonna come of this? I have all the police in my hands. And then they walk out and all the a bunch of police are there, and Jim Gordon goes, not every officer, you don't have every police officer in your hand. And the commissioner arrests him. So I think what happened is there was a scene where Jim Gordon is to the commissioner, oh, come on, we gotta trust Batman. He found out what's going on with Falcone. We gotta go be at this scene and arrest him. But they sacrificed that for like the heartwarming surprise of being like, look, there are some police who are going to show up and take Falcone down.
Yeah, well, I think it's also, it could be that, but I also think it could be the fact that this movie really wants it to just be a Batman movie, like only Batman. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you have a random scene where we're all of a sudden focusing on just Jim Gordon talking to the police, it's like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so I guess the climax of the movie.
Well, hold on. I'm just wanting to think if there's anything else that we're missing here.
Okay.
Because I was thinking of something, but I forgot. Whatever. I guess just go on.
Okay.
I was thinking of something, but I can't think of it now.
So the climax of the movie is that the Riddler is gonna kill Bruce Wayne next.
Yes, Bruce Wayne is his next target.
Yes. Or
his last target, at least, because he has to pay for the sins of his father. He has to pay for the fact that Thomas Wayne introduced the renewal, even though it doesn't make sense because Thomas Wayne didn't mean for it to happen that way.
No. Also, he's pissed off because Thomas Wayne got the journalist killed.
Yes, okay. Well, you want to describe that then? Yeah. Because we haven't even talked about that.
So the other thing where the Riddler thinks that the Waynes were corrupt is because Martha was in and out of psychological institutions because she had trauma from her troubles with her family, and what happened was there was a journalist who was going to expose all of this. And what the Riddler believes is that Thomas Wayne was trying to cover this up so his political campaign wasn't smeared. It turns out, actually, I guess it was just to protect Martha.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense, because Thomas Wayne is supposed to be a good dude.
Yeah. But what happens is they say in a moment of weakness, he goes to Carmine Falcone and says, can you scare this journalist into not talking about Martha's condition? And Falcone basically takes that as okay, kill the journalist.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. So Carmine Falcone, Bruce Wayne goes and talks to him. It's funny. We haven't really talked about the actual club. There's a really funny difference where Batman shows up to the club the first time as Batman, and he's not let in. He's like, you know who I am? And he's like, yeah. And he fucking has to beat the shit out of the guys to go in. But he shows up as Bruce Wayne, and he's like, you know who I am? And he's like, yeah, you're Bruce Wayne, and he just lets him in.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. I was going to say defamation, but you can't sue for defamation if it's, true. But it depends on how it's phrased. True. But, yeah, he shows up and Carmine Falcone tells him this. And then, we didn't talk about the bomb. Yeah, so obviously the Riddler targeted
That's what
Bruce.
I was gonna talk about.
Yeah, targeted Bruce Wayne, and then
sent a bomb in the mail.
Sent a bomb in the mail like the Unabomber, and Alfred, of course, being the butler, opens it first and gets fucked up. He gets blown up.
Yeah, which I like that he saw how sketchy that mail was and continued to open it.
Yeah. Well, which is weird because he's also studying the Riddler thing. Wouldn't he recognize the handwriting?
I know.
The handwriting's so, specific.
It is really specific. He's just like, no, I'm gonna open this package. It looks really suspicious. And it says to the Batman, which I think in that moment he thinks, oh my god, somebody figured out that Bruce is Batman.
Well, yeah, and that's what I think more concerning to him than anything else.
Yeah. And, so Alfred is in the fucking hospital.
For most of this movie. But, hilariously, there was a defamation case where a letter was opened by a butler. Funny. But yeah, so Alfred's in the he's barely in this movie, but I think the scenes with him are very impactful because, him and Bruce are just not seeing eye to eye. They're not friends at all.
No.
The first thing Bruce says to him in this movie is, "You're not my father."
You're not my dad.
Yeah, literally though. So which I think it's a really good, clever thing that they made that be the first thing to just show how distant they are.
Yeah.
But, after Bruce hears this from Falcone, he instantly goes to Alfred and he's like, why the fuck didn't you tell me?
In the hospital.
Yeah, in the hospital. He's like, why didn't you tell me? And Alfred's like, do you honestly think your father believed that that Falcone was going to kill this man? Your father just wanted to protect your mother. And it's just, Alfred's like, I'm sorry that you had to learn this the way you did and that you've grown up the way you have.
Yeah.
And it's just, by the end of it, it's basically Alfred and Bruce being, like, reuniting as a father and son thing.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
It is nice. My only problem with this was that Bruce goes to see Falcone and gets really pissed off, and then in the next scene, he goes to see Alfred, and immediately that issue is resolved.
But I was saying to you, though, wouldn't it make sense that if you had heard something from some second from some second source about me, you would instantly go to me to like self-check it? So
yeah,
it's like, you know, you're not my dad, ugly ass fucking noodle head.
But actually, the interesting part about that we didn't talk about as well, but it's not that important. But basically, Falcone also lies to Bruce Wayne, and he says, yeah, actually, Maroni got your mother and father killed.
But Alfred points out that it was clearly probably Falcone.
It was probably Falcone. But yeah, and then I guess it's just the end of the movie, huh?
Yeah, so the Riddler has been caught. As part of his plan, we already talked about how he blows up the seawalls.
You didn't even talk about how he gets caught.
Oh, well, do you want to then?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
So what happens is they catch Falcone. What happens, this is where Selena comes back in, and she's gonna go kill her father because she figured out that Falcone killed her friend for knowing that he was the rat the whole time.
Yeah.
And the like answer to the riddle of like a rat with wings, Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Batman is told that he has to bring Falcone into the light. So they arrest Falcone, take him out of the lounge, and all the police officers are there. But then Penguin comes out.
Yeah, the Penguin comes out to talk shit and be like, I'm gonna take over now.
Yeah, and he is gonna be like, I'm gonna, like, they get into a heated kind of argument together, and Penguin's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna shoot Falcone.
Right in front of the police.
Yeah, right in front of the police. But
he's so hot-headed it makes sense.
Yeah, what happens instead is Penguin gets tackled down, but there is a shot that goes off, and they look up, and there's a person in a window with, like, a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
And that person runs away, and it's the Riddler, and they find him at the diner, and it's fucking Paul Dano, and he goes, you tell me.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny because they even, like, you as an audience, you're like, he was there the whole time. They have gone to this club 5 different times, and he was there the whole time.
And the police officer says that
yeah,
too.
And that's what I was gonna say. Even in the movie, they make sure to be like, wow, he was here the whole time, huh?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's funny.
It is funny. But yeah, so he blows up the seawalls, like gets himself caught. Well, yeah, so I guess.
No, well, he doesn't blow up the seawalls yet.
Yeah,
you have to get to where they talk in the jail.
Yeah, I mean, it's your favorite scene, so do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so my favorite scene in the movie is where the Riddler calls from jail and is like, I want to talk to Batman. And Batman's like, okay, I guess I'll go. And he goes because he sees a video file on the Riddler's computer that it's titled, like, The Truth Unmasked.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, where he's like, he says the part where he's like, thank you guys so much for all the support.
Yeah.
And showing me how to make bomb detonators.
No, but this video is locked at first.
Yeah, no, I know.
And Batman believes
that there's something more.
That the video is the Riddler saying that he knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And he...
Well, because he looks at a bunch of the stuff around his apartment, too, and he's like, it's stuff like, who is the Batman?
Yeah.
And it's like, Bruce Wayne is evil, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of shit about Bruce Wayne and Batman, so you're like, oh my god, the Riddler has figured out who Batman is.
Yeah, and even he says to Commissioner Gordon before he leaves, I think this is the end of the Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he goes and talks to him, And the Riddler is just fucking nuts, just going like, Bruce Wayne! And Batman is sitting there, like, fucking sweating his ass off, like, oh my god, he knows that I'm Bruce Wayne. But no, the plot twist is, this is so brilliant, is that the Riddler is just pissed because the only person that he failed in killing was Bruce Wayne. So he's just pissed about that. He does not know that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
No, he's just... Because he then goes to say, we almost had him, didn't we? And Batman goes, we? And he's like, yeah,
You've been helping me out, right?
You've been helping me out this whole time. That's how we've gotten all these people. And Batman's like, I haven't been helping you. And he's like, how else do you think I would have gotten Falcone? And Batman's like, oh my god, I did help him, didn't I?
Yeah. But then the Riddler is pissed because he's like, you weren't on my side.
Yeah, he like
time?
starts fucking freaking out and screaming. He's like, no, this isn't how it was supposed to fucking go.
He was like, Batman and I were supposed to be buddies.
Yeah, so, yeah, Clips, he doesn't know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. He never figured it out. It's just Batman thinking that he figured out Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Yeah, and he's like panicking during that scene, but then the more concerning thing is that the Riddler goes, oh, you didn't figure everything out, did you?
Yeah.
Which is the terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then Batman goes back to the apartment, watches that video, figures out the terrorist attack, and that's the last big scene of the movie, is trying to stop this terrorist attack.
Yeah, which obviously they do in a really cool big action scene.
Yeah.
There's a really great scene where like all the buildings are fucking collapsed, and that's made it so you were confused. Yeah, I was confused the first time I watched it a little bit too, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I had to explain.
That makes it 1,000 times better. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes Batman and like seem so much smarter in the movie, right? It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wouldn't make sense. How the fuck would the Riddler figure it out? I guess maybe they could have explained like, oh, during the car chase bit, he does save the kid. You know what I mean? Or, like, not the car chase, when the car comes cascading into the...
Yeah,
and, like, the Riddler is watching, and he does see Bruce Wayne save that kid, so he could be like, oh, Bruce...
That's kind of far-fetched.
No, it is, but that could have been their explanation if they wanted to. I don't think they would have, obviously, which they didn't. But...
I was so happy when I saw that, though, that he didn't know that Bruce is Batman, because all the trailers were like, oh, the Riddler knows that Bruce is Batman.
Well, and I honestly wish they hadn't even, like, done anything like that.
Yeah, but it's a really good plot twist.
Yeah,
it's done so subtly, like we were saying, because again, Brant didn't even know until I like explained the scene to Brant.
Well, we came home and I was like, why didn't the Riddler just like tell everyone who Bruce Wayne is?
Yeah, but no, he just keeps saying Bruce Wayne because he's pissed off that he failed in killing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really good.
It is very, very good.
Yeah.
So Batman, obviously, there's this really good scene where, like, all the shit is collapsed and he starts saving everyone and getting everybody to, like, helicopter support because the fucking city's just destroyed. Like, Gotham doesn't exist. It's, like, gone.
Yeah.
It's fucking destroyed by the end of this movie. Something in the way fucking kicks in again. We get a second
Batman monologue
where he's like, I realize, because here's something interesting. So they, at the end of the movie, they unmask one of the Riddler guys, and he's like, Jim Gordon's like, who are you? And the guy responds, I'm Vengeance, the same way Batman is, and he's like, holy shit, I did this, didn't I?
I'm encouraging these
because
people.
the Riddler does say, I got this idea because of you.
Yeah.
And he's not, like, this isn't a Riddler where he's, like, saying that to, like, make Batman, like, he actually did get this idea from Batman because of how brutal he is.
Yeah.
And how...
And he was like, oh, I thought... He doesn't say this word for word, but it's like implied in what he says. I knew I couldn't do anything about this city unless I used force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
yeah, no,
like
he's like uninterrupted violence is what it needs.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
So it's we get a second monologue where Batman is like, I can't be Vengeance, I must become Hope. And it's a very impactful moment. I got a little choked up. I was like, holy shit, this is really good.
Yeah. It's a very good lesson for Batman to learn.
It is.
He's such like an angry little shit throughout the movie.
No, and you don't disagree because he's doing the right thing, but you're like, wow, he's just like a dick in this movie. Like, even like Batman's always a dick, but he's like, he doesn't understand anyone. He doesn't even like Alfred, and it's like Batman always liked Alfred.
Yeah,
and that's not a problem in this movie. People are complaining about this movie being like, Batman doesn't fucking smile in this movie even once, and it's like, okay, shut the fuck up. Seriously, really?
Let him learn his lesson.
Yeah,
people.
maybe he'll learn. Maybe he'll smile when he's not depressed.
Yeah. But like he doesn't understand Selena.
And by the end of the movie, he does.
Yeah, which is great. He does learn his lesson.
Yeah, he completely does.
But I do really like the message, and I do like the idea that like Batman just isn't right all the time.
Yeah. Speaking about that, how the fuck did that guy not die when he injected that shit into himself, and then without holding back punches a guy in the face like 10 times while on the floor, and the Riddler lackey comes out with a broken... That's part of the problem with it being PG-13, is that it shies away from shit like that. It should have been rated R, or NC-17, or whatever rating you guys have over there. It should have been an adult rating, so that we could have had blood to show, oh shit, Batman just fucking like destroyed this guy's face, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Something funny, gay.
But it should have been R. It should have been R. It just that's really the tag. That should be the tagline of the movie. It's fucking great, but it should have been R.
Yeah.
But Selena leaves. And they set up the Penguin to become a big crime boss.
And then the Riddler talks to Joker.
Oh,
and
yes.
He makes a funny Joker joke.
Yes. We should talk about that scene, shouldn't we?
So the Joker appeals to the Riddler by making a funny riddle.
Well, we should actually talk about the scene.
No, I know. I'm just joking around. It's fucking like a minute. It doesn't matter.
Well, here's the thing: is it kind of does, because what if it does for later movies? The problem I have is I don't think the scene should have been in the movie.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where the Riddler's in jail. He's been thwarted. He's fucking screaming and crying, and all of a sudden you see another person in a jail cell. And
Barry Keoghan.
Barry Keoghan, and it's clearly the Joker. He's supposed to be the Joker. He hasn't become the Joker. He's not a clown yet. He's just a crazy dude who's already fought Batman at least once. At least... Implied. But he's like... He made a clown of you, but there's worse things to be. And he makes a riddle about how they're going to become friends, and it's setting it up, maybe, for, Joker, Riddler, or something. I don't think the scene should have been in the movie. It's
just to tantalize the audience and be like, "Oh, you like the Joker, right?
Yeah.
Here's the Joker."
I just think they should have saved it, honestly. Maybe, I don't know. And did Riddler genuinely believe that Batman was on his side? Yes.
Yeah.
He's that crazy, yeah.
Those letters, like, the whole movie, they're presented through the eyes of Batman as, like, these are threatening letters. Like, this guy is out to get me at some point. But no, in actuality, it's the Riddler actually, like, sending letters like, "Hey, I'm helping you out. We're gonna figure out who the rat is together. Here's, like, a funny letter," right?
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, I thought this guy was the smart one, Lamau. Yeah.
I really like, though, I was saying, I like that, the Riddler does outsmart Batman in some aspects, because I wouldn't just like it if Batman solved everything immediately and was just like, fucking stupid, like, Riddler can't even come up with riddles, like, who cares?
Yeah, that was one of my complaints a little bit to Eclipse that you were talking about, where he gets shot, like, towards the end of the movie, Batman gets shot full blank in the chest with a fucking shotgun, and then all of a sudden out of his utility belt comes a sudden, adrenaline boost that he uses. And stuff like that. For me, I was just like, where the fuck did this adrenaline boost come from? It's not a big deal, but it was just like, what the fuck? This just feels like a thing that's randomly saving Batman. Real crazy people don't know that they're crazy. Fair enough.
Yeah, and it's like if you have the perception, like, oh, Batman is gonna cleanse Gotham. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because he lives by Batman's ideology in his warped way. He thinks that Batman is violence. He thinks Batman is...
Well, and he says, like, because Batman... You get the sense that Batman says this a lot. I am vengeance.
Yeah.
So he's...
Well, yeah, because even the Penguin, he calls him Mr. Vengeance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's very interesting, but I do like, I just do like that this Batman seems like he's learning in this movie.
Yeah,
and that we have the Riddler as the main villain. It's like he needs to be a challenge. The Riddler needs to outsmart Batman.
Well, I'm just hoping if they are bringing him back for another movie, like, especially with the Joker, it's just like it's even better. You know what I mean? Like his plan or whatever. Because this one was really well orchestrated. I was expecting that Riddler lackey to be killed by him. Yeah, it would have been interesting if he had either, like, killed him or almost killed him. I don't think they would have gone as far to kill him just because that's Batman's thing or whatever.
Yeah, I think they want to kind of revise it a little and be like, yeah, Batman doesn't kill people.
Well, yeah, because the Ben Affleck has now put it into people's minds that he does kill people for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though he clearly doesn't. But I guess, final thoughts, rating for the movie. Would you recommend it?
I would really recommend it.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah. I think if you have absolutely any interest in this movie at all, you will have a good time.
Yeah, what's your rating?
Probably, like we were talking about, I have a couple little problems. I'm gonna go with like a 9 out of 10 for right now.
Yeah, mine's a 9 out of 10, but honestly, after a second viewing, if I just, like, watch it and I just enjoy it again, it probably will be a 10 out of 10, because it's just that, it's really good.
It is really good.
It feels really long in some parts, at least for me. You were saying that the movie felt like it had 19 endings.
Yeah, it felt kind of long near the end where because I kept expecting after certain scenes for it, like after the Joker scene, for it to just like fade to black and be done.
Well, I guess also that's because that felt like a post-credit scene for a Marvel thing.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, this is the end of the movie, you know what I mean?
But no, it is, to me, only at the end a little bit long with like, and now we have one more scene to wrap it up.
Yeah.
We have another scene to wrap it up.
Yeah, I completely get that. Yeah. But I think it warrants the fact that it's so long because it's a mystery and it wants to pull out that mystery as much as it can. It's kind of like Zodiac in that way.
Yeah. Be suspenseful and
yeah. I just really hope we get a lot of Batman movies. I hope this is more than just a trilogy, because I honestly want to just see Matt Reeves do every villain. I want to see what his Two-Face is. I want to see what his fucking Mr. Freeze is. You know what I mean? I want to see this Batman go against every fucking villain there is.
I'm glad though, Eclipse, that we improved the movie for you by telling you the plot.
Yeah. No, I'm glad too, because it was a little over my head too, but
yeah, I think it's very smart though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you think that if they make too many movies, it could become a problem?
Well, I don't know. I think they're gonna stick with the 3.
Well, I mean, they're making TV shows and shit too, though.
Yeah,
you know
I'm
what I mean?
skeptical of that. I don't know about all these fucking TV shows and bullshits, but
I don't know. People like the Peacemaker show, and if it's like held with the same regard and like quality that is, then it will probably be good. You know what I mean? So I don't really want to see any more Clayface for some reason. Just think I really like the realistic aspect of these. Well, like, I don't know. I think, yeah, I kind of like the realism of these Batman movies as well. I think there could be Clayface. I think they would just tone it down so he's not a big clay monster. I think he would be more... If they do a villain like that, they would honestly just do Hush. Because he changes faces all the time. You know what I mean? And I think that would be a good villain that would fit the kind of style of these movies, too. I only know one... The only thing I know about the Peacemaker show is its little eagle friend. Yeah, we gotta watch that still.
We do.
Either way, anything else?
No, I think that's it. It's a good movie. Go watch it.
Very, very good. Thank you all for stopping by for the review. I will probably be back later with Elden Ring. If not, I'll let you guys know. But Either way, thank you guys so much for stopping by. We got some more reviews in the pipeline, hopefully very soon, right? We want to do the Ultimate Spider-Man one soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be a doozy.
That one is gonna be a long one, but it's gonna be fun. That one is gonna be a fun. But either way, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.